Oh my gosh. Back now, we're going to do this tort, not to be confused with a tart.
It'd be so yummy.
Yes.
We're making a chocolate pecan bourbon tort.
Uh-huh.
Now we decided that this recipe is actually pretty simple, but at the same time it can get a little technical. There's certain points that we're going to point out to you that are critical.
One of them is right here. I have 3 bowls to crack my eggs. One is to crack and make sure I don't have the yolks in my whites. And then crack into your hands. You may think it's gross or unsanitary, but if your hands are nice and clean, you won't have that problem.
No worries.
No worries. But you do not want yolks in your whites, and that's why we're keeping separate bowls. Once you know it's yolk free, then you go in, and we need 7 eggs. We want to reserve 6 whites. Our extra white is here. You saw that I broke a yolk here, but it didn't get into my whites. Very important. And we're going to whip them. The structure of this cake, if you'll allow me to wash my hands, comes from getting air incorporated into our whites and yolks, and separately.
Right, because we're not adding a leavening agent like baking soda or yeast.
Well, we have the cream of tartar, which will help to stabilize the structure of the whites.
Right.
And, crumb. We're going to have some breadcrumb that'll help with texture, but volume is going to come from the whites.
The air that we incorporate. So here we go.
Right into a clean bowl. And now, believe it or not, you're going to get more volume into your eggs, whites and yolks, if you work at room temperature. They're going to be harder to separate. So you may want to separate them cold and then let them come to room temperature. And then all we do is bring this guy up. I'm working backwards here. Now we're going to take a couple of minutes, and we're going to come back and show you what we're looking for here. Okay? Okay. Now, you get till it's foamy, we're going to go half of our sugar, half a cup. We have 6 whites, half a cup of sugar. We're going to go. It's going to take another couple of minutes. Very important to watch your whites. Alrighty. Now, next step, and we're moving quickly. We've gotten stiff peaks here, right? And there is such a thing as over whipping your whites. Once you get to this point and they're standing firm, then you don't mess with them. Get them into this bowl. Next step, Bridge.
We're going in with we have 6 yolks and 1 white.
7 yolks and 1 white.
I'm sorry, 7 yolks, 1 white.
Get the recipe. Same thing. We're going to whip these first just by themselves, get some volume, and then we'll go in with the sugar. So we'll be back in just a second here. We're going to get rolling.
This is our halfway point. We want to point out here something important. Notice we had all of our stuff assembled. This isn't a critical time. Even though it's not too difficult a recipe, it's all about technique. So 2 things. 1, we're assembled, ready to go. And 2, we whipped our egg whites first, then we went into our bowl with our egg yolks and 1 white. You can mix whites with yolk and whip them. You can't mix yolk into white and whip them.
Right, very worth mentioning. So here we go in with our sugar, which is like the other half cup. You have half cup in your whites, half cup in your yolks. We like this cake because it's not overly sweet. Then we're going to go back up here. When we get the nice volume we're looking for, we're going to go on with the next step. Here we go.
Now we look good. Notice the color change. We're thick, and as it's whipping, you can see little ribbons forming.
We'll take a peek here and show that.
See that? Okay. Now we're going to start blending our flavors. Moving quickly and very gently, we're going to start folding things in. The first of which is our chocolate, which we've been melting on a double broiler. That's about 2 ounces of chocolate. Was that right? Mm-hmm. We melted it. It's cooled now. And we're going to go ahead and...
At home, I would have volunteers to clean this, except it's raw eggs, so you may not want to volunteer it out too much. Now, we're done with El Mixer.
Let's be honest, they really want the chocolate at home, the little ones.
Well, this is like an uncooked zabayon, really. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you did this in a copper pan over a bain-marie, you would have a zabayon right now. Mm-hmm. And I'll take that spat back, por favor.
Okay, so we're going to fold in. Fold gently, fold in.
The technique of folding is go around the sides, scoop. Around and scoop, around and scoop, okay? And are we doing this well? Okay, alrighty. Now, don't over mix, don't worry that it's perfectly uniform because we're gonna continue to fold and mix. We're gonna keep on doing that. Next thing that's going in is our breadcrumb. First we're gonna go in with our salt and cream of tartar, which will help to stabilize this structure, right? Mm-hmm. And then we're going in with, this is pecan meal. Ground up fine. You need to be pretty
You saw
fine
this
for
in
this.
the last segment. This
Right.
is the same. It's great to get a big container. It's a great pantry builder. So
Keep it in the freezer. We always keep nuts in the freezer before they're toasted, and because those
You want your
oils.
breadcrumbs now? We may as well do them
Yeah,
all
go
at
ahead.
once, right?
Yeah, good job. And the bourbon. Go ahead and drop that in here.
And our bourbon. You watch how much you fold it.
And then, like Bridgie's warning me of that because we're going right into the egg whites. We want to get most of the mixing here. Don't tap on the bowl because if you do that, you're going to
Pops air bubbles.
That's right. You want to be very delicate.
You got to know when to hold them.
When to hold them.
Know when to fold them. Do you like the bottom side of that bowl? You can
All right.
see so
you know
well.
what? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're not going to get everything.
Oh, and we're ever so gently folding.
Okay. All right. Lovely. Now,
Know
Lift,
when to add your
scoop,
crumbs. And then your rum.
yeah. Or, yeah, rum would be good in this instead of bourbon. That would be good too.
You never count
have-
your pecans.
While you're sitting at the table,
There'll be time enough for eating when the bacon's done.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm so good.
cute. Oh my God, we just got cute. Now you can move quickly, but ever so gently as we're doing this, okay? And then when we have a nice, pretty much, it doesn't have to be, you know, all the way mixed in. That's that we keep
It
wanting
will
coming
be,
back to that. And we're gonna go left-handed into a pre-floured and buttered ring mold. We're going right in there.
Now we've baked this in 3 different sizes. This is about a 6-inch. We have a
That might be a 7-inch, I'm not sure.
What is that, an 8-inch there and a 10-inch over there? So there's so many different variables that you're looking at. A smaller oven reacts differently. You know, an oven like this is going to radiate at 350 degrees. It's going to radiate different heat than an oven that's this size, okay? Now, we're going to go here. Did you want to say something about that?
Well, one thing she's talking about here, one thing that might help with that, the different heat levels, you want it to cook evenly all the way through, so that it comes up evenly, so you don't have it sunk in on the sides. It's going to do some of that. There's no way around it. But you can get these baking strips, and you pin them on.
If we had pins. Do you have your pins?
I don't, but I'm just going to
They
show.
get the idea.
Yeah, baking strips are available at a lot of cooking centers, and then you just pin them just right around this pan, and then when it goes in the oven, then you end up with something that bakes more evenly. So you can go right in the oven with that.
Excuse me.
You're excused. When it comes out, you want to cool it on a rack. And then the springform pan, I know not everybody has one, but a lot of people have them, and they're sitting, it's that pan that sits up on top of the shelf that gets used once or twice a year near Christmas time. And very gently.
Now this is such an elegant cake. It's so it's more of a European style cake. In the Americas, we've developed these thick, high layered cakes, and in Europe, a lot of times you'll have 7 layers in a cake that's only maybe this high. So, and it is lovely.
And
it's
then what
fun.
you do, you get these layers like this, and you turn the cake as you bring your knife gently back and forth, and you're ready to ice your cake. And this guy is going to flip over like this. And since oh, whoa, 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 I hate it when that happens. I'll tell you what.
Oh no.
Yeah, this is, I can't tell you how many cakes I've done this, you know, had to patch them up. Here we go, Julia Child. And you can trim this all the way around, much easier with a serrated knife. Get this guy iced up, take all these little edges out, bring them to the center, and you're going to have to be real careful with this. But you can brush liqueur here, get them all filled, and then you can either glaze over the top of them, do a buttercream over the top, and then you end up with a very pretty cake like so. And I'm going to show you, I wasn't real happy with how my glaze came out on this guy. So if you want to hide a few imperfections, you glue this all back together with your icing, put it all together, and then once you get the guy iced, you can go over the top with either powdered sugar or cocoa
Or nuts, whatever you want.
see, that's the
Speaking of
thing.
nuts,
All
you're
right.
watching Twice Baked. We're the Kelly Twins.